Shane here at Kumbartcho, Kilkeven. I just felt inspired to shoot a short video in what is basically a 1 hectare area of syntropic planting and some earlier plantings that are kind of the standard 10 metre apart single trees. This is an area that I've got fenced now, and I've introduced some Persian sheep into it. So it's a part of moving some of these treed areas into animal production. And my vision here is with this system, I've got it fenced with a pig mesh, which is obviously not fox proof because my local fox digs underneath it and has been harvesting a few chickens. But anyhow, I've got my Persian sheep in here. You'll see the trail of feathers from the fox. He's dining on chicken, not chicken Kiev, but yeah, just fresh chicken. But yeah, lots of browse in here, trees, pigeon peas, and the grass in this paddock is quite interesting because I used to mow up here or brush cut, and I've stopped doing that in the last few years, and the grass pasture has really collapsed and it's become really weedy. So kind of interesting what'll happen if you don't have the animal, you know, the lawnmower grazing or the brush cutter grazing or the animals grazing. And these are the Persians here. These guys have come up from Piercedale on the Mornington Peninsula, and I think they're quite enjoying being in the tropics. And these guys are just, they're December born. These guys are just laying on the condition. They're so full. And to begin with, they were just grazing the short grass on the tree rows where I'd been mowing. And after a little bit, they suddenly learnt to browse. I don't think they've come out of an environment where they had anything but pasture to eat, and probably short pasture. So they've learnt to browse while they've been in here. And they're utilising, and I'm not too far off, I'll start to do some pollarding of the trees and drop stuff on the ground for them to eat. This is old Rambo at the back here. But yeah, as I say, probably the most misshapen animals apart from a camel that I've ever come across, but they're doing really well here. And so this is the system. The bigger trees in here were planted 10 years ago, and since then, like the last syntropic plantings were probably 2 years ago in here. We were doing some vegetable gardening in here, but it's too far away from the house. It's way out of zone 1, so it's now becoming an animal production system. And my vision is with the fencing I've got, I can do sheep, chickens, goats or pigs in here. So I've got multiple choices to work this. And a lot of these trees I'll gradually get around to pollarding them and drop the tops on the ground to promote growth of spurts, and put a bit of stuff on top of the ground to melt back down. And I've got over here, you may hear them starting to talk to me. I've got a couple of Maremma puppies. They're so goddamn cute, it's unbelievable. And look at these cutie little fellas here. This is my rooster pack. I got 3 of these little fellas that have got more feathers on their feet than they have on their wings, I think. And this other bigger rooster. These are kind of freebies from Equinetics just outside of Kilkeven. And these guys they're part of the system to start these pups with poultry and with sheep. And I've just put these guys in. This is my sheep yard. This again is panels I bought from Super Rack in Brisbane. This is my mineral station for the sheep. So just a 200 litre drum and I've used another part of 200 litre drum to put a weather shield on to keep the rain out of it. And they've got a mixture in there of dolomite, salt, diatomaceous earth, seaweed, yeah, just a free choice mineral lick for them. And I've set this yard up. It's got a race for handling the sheep. I've got a draft up the front here for sorting them. And these guys have just graduated. They've been, up until now, they've been in these cages here with the sheep locked up here at night. So they kind of got a viewing platform to watch their flock. I've been tying my other dogs up here too because the fox has been quite rather rambunctious. Look at these cuties. And so I'm now going to leave these guys in this yard here. So this morning's their first time in this yard. I'm going to leave them in here, and at night time when the sheep are in the yard, and that way they'll be more up close and personal with the sheep. And as we progress, we're doing a lot of obedience stuff. We're doing sit. It wasn't exactly sit. We're doing obedience training, learning the basics of sit, stay, down. So Shane carries around a pocket full of little treats for these guys. And you know, there's a whole lot of different things people tell you to do with Maramas. Just throw them in with the livestock and walk away from them. You don't want to do anything with them. Some tell you want to spend time with them and bond with them and do the obedience work with them so that you can handle them further down the track. Look at that beautiful sitting dog, hey? And what about you? Are you going to sit there, Lavender? Sit. Good pup. Aren't they good? Look at that. Look at these guys. They aim to please. Look at that. Sit. Good pup. Sit. Good pup. Yeah, so basic obedience. So if anywhere down the track in their lifetime we need to handle them, then they've got the basics there. But look at this system. This is bloody magnificent. Mulberry trees, silky oaks, lots of fruit trees through here too. So I'm about to start to work. Here's an avocado tree here. I'm about to start to work in here. A Tulsi basil, that is just loves this country. I'm about to start to clean around these trees and mulch more around them. Here's a cassava here. And you can see the sheep have been up and browsed this cassava, reached up and got it. They love these tipuanas. But yeah, there's a lot of fruit trees in here, so I'm about to start pruning around these fruit trees. Here's an avocado here coming through. A citrus over here in the grass. But these fruit trees in here, they've really been brought up under the stun method, like sheer, total and utter neglect. Look at this mango here, just pumping. And see these mangoes, when they sprout a shoot, you prune it off, right? You can see where this has been pruned off, if you can get past the leaves. Prune it off, and instead of having one growing tip, you end up with 4 or 5 growing tips. So that equates to 4 or 5 fruit instead of 1. But yeah, I'm going to start to work in here. There's a pomegranate in here amongst all this. I'll start to take these ukes down and lay that stuff on the ground and give these fruit trees, now that they've survived the stun, I'll start to nurture them a little. Here's another mango here in the jungle. Magnificent. Like this, the survival of these fruit trees is outstanding. I just love it, and I think that going forward I can now start to nurture them. Here's a big olive tree here, a big seedling avocado there with a companion of mugwort, a citrus here that's really pumping. Look at this. Look at this guy. He's really got some fresh growth on him. Here we are, middle of winter. And some of these I'll start to prune, keep them down to a level where I can actually pick fruit off them without having to climb up ladders. There's another one in here somewhere near the sheep yard that's a grapefruit, a pink grapefruit, and he's bearing fruit. So he's got a few fruit on him at the moment. So we're already getting a harvest out of here without doing any work. I love it. And the dogs love it too, and they're just waiting for their opportunity to sit. Look at that. Aren't they bloody magnificent? Here comes the other one to sit. Good pup. Aren't they awesome? And here's my favourite rooster here. He's lovely. So yeah, that gives you a look. There's some dolichos there going up this tree, up a silky oak tree. So there's so much browsing here for these sheep. I'm anticipating that these sheep are going to be super healthy in here and not be plagued by some of the parasite problems that you get with sheep in these sort of areas. I think largely I have a theory that the parasites are a lack of diversity in what they're eating. Here's a white sapote, and these are interesting. Like these white sapotes are seedlings that I brought here from Duke's Plain like 10 years ago, and they're just they've been stunned too, absolute stun management. They're just starting to flower, so we look like we're going to start getting fruit with these guys. Another citrus nestled in there. Another really healthy looking mango tree in here and amongst this mugwort. Just awesome. These bottle trees, a broadleaf bottle tree, this is a brachychiton that came from Duke's Plain. I brought a lot of trees from Duke's Plain when I came here to bring the influence of the biodynamic influence out of that landscape and 30 odd years of regenerative management. I wanted to bring the genetics of that here. Another mango tree there. Lots of mulberries in this row. Look at this citrus. This guy's really pumping. And yeah, I love it. It's time now to start to manage for the fruit trees. Another fruit tree of some sort. I don't know what that guy is. A Fraser Island bloody something or other. Another mango. We're starting to find out in here the things that'll grow in this environment. Look at this. Look at this awesome cover. You know, and how much chop and drop is there here to feed these sheep through the winter as the pastures, you know, the summer dominant pastures go off. We've got all this beautiful browse here. So there you go. That's a quick look at my sheep paddock and closing out with this awesome mango foliage. Bye bye.